Naruto, 10 Most Wholesome Characters, Ranked. Wholesome characters are a great part of any anime, but in Naruto, these characters must act as the light in a darker story. In anime, shonen is a genre known to have violence at the forefront of the plot. There is usually war, pain, and even death. Naruto, having one of the longest runtimes in anime history, often delves into these darker storylines and makes the viewers feel that all hope is lost. Luckily, while Naruto is gruesome and bleak at times, there are a few characters who keep the tone of the show light-hearted. Instead of focusing on the harsh realities of the Naruto universe, these characters demonstrate that no matter what, the power of friendship and believing in yourself is a shonen staple that is never too lost. Wholesome characters are a great part of any anime, but in Naruto, these characters must act as the light in a darker story. 10. Yugo has a big heart. Yugo can be very violent and his rage is triggered, sometimes becoming so bloodthirsty that he murders an entire village. Despite harnessing such power, Yugo despises this part of himself and wishes more than anything else to keep himself away from vulnerable people. This is why Yugo sticks to Kimimaro and later Sasuke. His true personality is gentle and kind, which explains the measures he takes to refrain from hurting those around him. Yugo is also one with nature, gravitating towards animals and fiercely protecting them. Despite aligning himself with questionable allies at times, the audience can tell that Yugo intends to protect the world around him. 9. Sai's relationships are meaningful. Sai is introduced as a cold character, meant to be reflective of Sasuke. As a member of the root division of the village's Umbu, Sai was taught since childhood to suppress his memories and emotions. The audience later learns that Sai was close with fellow root member Shin, who he looked to as an older brother. Sai eventually regains his memories and joy, and he notes the similarities between Shin and Naruto. For the remainder of the series, Sai's focus on friendship drives him to stand by Naruto's side. He has a pure view of his relationships that make nearly every scene he's in bring a smile to the viewers' faces. 8. Kakashi breaks through his tragic past. Most characters in Naruto have at least somewhat of a tragic background, but Kakashi's is one of the most notable. From an early age, he lost his teammates, his father, and his mentor. He morphs from cocky and cold to dejected. Seeing this story through flashbacks is such a stark contrast to the friendly and supportive sensei that the audience has grown to know. However, it is through seeing Kakashi's cruel origins that the audience can fully appreciate how far he has come as the mentor for Team 7. Kakashi treats each of his students with compassion and never seems to take the smaller things in life as seriously as he once did. 7. Guy is a great friend and mentor. In a show where each character is stronger than the last, it's refreshing to see a ninja who focuses on training in the simpler sense. Guy, while talented in his own right, often compares himself to fellow classmate Kakashi Hatake, who is known as one of the strongest ninja in the village. However, instead of hating his proclaimed rival, Guy does his best to protect Kakashi. As adults, the two often engage in light-hearted competition. Guy is also known as an eccentric sensei. His training is excessive, to say the least. But he demonstrates on more than one occasion that he believes in his team wholeheartedly. The moments between Guy and Lee are the most impactful, Guy even telling Lee that he would die right beside him if anything should go wrong in his surgery. 6. Yahiko's impact is chilling. While Yahiko is a character kept to the past in the show, he is still one of the most wholesome. The viewers are shocked to discover that the fearsome villain organization, the Akatsuki, started with a kind-hearted boy and his dream for peace. While the larger implications of this are dicey, Yahiko, is still a memorable character despite having so little screen time. Yahiko cared for his friends ruthlessly and dreamed of a world without needless violence in which they could all be safe. The ninja's personality parallels Naruto's at times, albeit he is a bit more realistic than the protagonist. Yahiko's kind heart and selflessness led to his demise, but the impact that his character has on the plot extends far beyond most minor characters. 5. Shino's personality is a breath of fresh air. Shino's abilities rely on bug breeding, making his character off-putting to some viewers. Despite this, Shino reveals over time that he has a soft heart and a respect for his friends that is usually cut off or ignored for the sake of comedic timing. While often forgotten, Shino becomes a character that the viewers root for, and eventually, he plays a larger role in Boruto. As a kind-hearted sensei who wishes to pass down what he's learned to the next generation. Every minute that Shino is on the screen is more wholesome than the last. 4. Iruka always believed in Naruto. Iruka is the first adult to support Naruto, and this support drives the protagonist throughout the remainder of the show. At the start of the series, Iruka admits to seeing a bit of himself in Naruto, knowing what it is like to be alone and act out in order to get attention. After Iruka dramatically saves Naruto in the first episode, the young ninja has since looked to him as a father figure. Iruka is not only a kind sensei, but he consistently comforts Naruto when the inevitable stings of war hit him personally. Iruka's kind disposition and dependability make him a universal comfort character. 3. Hinata is the kindest character. While Iruka is the first adult to support Naruto, Hinata is arguably the first person. When Hinata's title as heiress to the Hyuga clan is revoked on account of her weakness, Hinata forms a one-sided bond with Naruto. She finds inspiration in his grit and desperation to prove himself, and this leads to Hinata being one of the only genin to respect Naruto in the first part of the series. Seeing Hinata's shift from being disregarded at home to being a respected member of Kurenai's team, the viewers inevitably root for Hinata to prove herself without risking her kind heart in the process. Ultimately, this is a feat she succeeds in. 2. Naruto is the protagonist for a reason. While this is no surprise, Naruto's wholesomeness is prevalent throughout the show. Beyond his sweet personality, Naruto fosters many relationships with other characters that drive them to be their best selves. Sitting at the center of this show, it makes sense that most of Naruto's impact on the plot is positive. Naruto respects his teammates, classmates, and teachers. To an extent. Naruto even respects his foe enough to hash out their problems and give them an inspiring speech in the midst of battle. What is arguably the most wholesome of Naruto's traits, however, is his refusal to give up or leave anyone behind. 1. Rock Lee is the sweetest. Lee lacks all of the natural talents that most ninja in Naruto possess, relying on his taijutsu in battle. Despite being disrespected and viewed as weak, Lee never turns his back on the people around him. Even before Lee befriends characters like Sakura, he risks his life to save her during the Chunin exams. As Guy's mentor, Lee takes up the mantle of relying solely on hard work to prove himself. Seeing how hard Lee trains to grow stronger, even as everyone dismisses him, is heartwarming. As the series progresses, characters who once looked down upon Lee, like Niji, end up respecting him. Not just for his skills, but for his passion.